Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we come to you for a special edition of our podcast. It is with heavy hearts that we see you this Monday morning. With me is my co-host, Locarthemanbeast. Also with us is me, the DjLobsterDust. And we'd like to open up by saying, listen, we all know it's been a long time coming, and it doesn't make it any easier. It is a rough pill to swallow, but gaming in whole is dead. The industry sucks. It's just recycled content. It's just the same bullshit over and over again. Studios are shitty and are focusing more on, ideology and politics than they are actual gameplay. The Game Awards isn't even nominating good games, anything that's even worth a shit.
How about actual games?
Yeah, just as a whole, just everything's gone. It's past the point of no return. So with that in mind, this is our last podcast. What's the point? What's the point of even doing a gaming podcast if this is how the rest of it's going to be? We can't be the only ones atlasing the weight of the gaming industry. I know we do it time and time again, but we're at our breaking point. I can't keep holding the industry on our backs. So that being said, how's your week been, man?
An absolute clusterfuck of an experience. Outside of the gaming industry just being a complete fucking waste of my time, the world is a complete waste of my time.
Yeah.
Let me delve into.
Let me clear my throat.
You ain't shit. Let me just kind of backtrack a little bit into the life of Trevor and his endeavors with moving out of a house. Start by the fact that I understand it's all about money and greed. People want to make their money, right? That's why they're selling the house. That's why my realtor's the owner's realtor is so involved with trying to get people in the house to view it so they can sell it and get it done. Doesn't help me. Doesn't fucking help me, because here's the thing. During the middle of the holidays, nobody moves.
No.
You've got Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's back to back to back, right? You got Thanksgiving, and you got a 2.5 week break, Christmas, then you got a week and a half break, and then you got New Year's. Not even that. You got fucking 5 days. It is cancerous to try and move during this time period. No one seems to give a shit. No one seems to care. This realtor, and bless her heart, she is a nice lady. She is a nice lady. I respect the hell out of her. She's a nice lady, but she's also
just a middleman.
Not only is she a middleman, but she's there for her money. If she sells the property, she's going to make money. So she's been, I tried to tell her, I was like, look, no fucking Fridays, no weekends, and let's do some of this shit before the holidays, because during the week of the holidays, I'm going to tell you no. It's just how it's going to be. I'm not going to inconvenience myself during this crazy time because you want to show the house to sell it. And again, so she took that to heart and she was like, well, okay, I'm going to schedule a bunch of people to come out and view the house. Okay, fine. So yesterday, I had 3 people back to back to back to the house. First people came through, walked the house. They show up, and the realtor shows up with the potential buyer, This girl, she's a younger girl, whatever. She's a little goofy looking or whatever, but you know, fine, no big deal. She's like, well, my husband's on his way. He wanted to view it too. I was like, that's fine. I was like, I just want to let you know the realtor's set up for your 5 o'clock. There's one at 5:15 and there's one at 5:30. So just be prepared. If you want to wait around with your husband, you're more than welcome to, but there's going to be other people here. So if you want to make it awkward, you're more than welcome to. I don't care. It's not, I'm not fucking buying the house. So she's also like, well, we also have a contractor showing, or a construction guy showing up to view the house as well. So, all right, it's fine. Yeah, no big deal. So they're walking the house. We're talking a little bit. The construction guy shows up and he's like coming in the house. He's like, hey, how you doing? He's like pulling on doors and like banging on walls and stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I'm
a handyman.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just trying to see, you know, what the quality of all this stuff is so I can get them a decent. It's like, yeah, interesting. And so he's going through, he's like banging on the tub and stuff. He's like pushing on the walls and stuff. And I was like, brother, hey man, this house is old, like old. It was built in 1978. Nothing's been done in this place since then. Like, probably don't bang or push too fucking hard. He's like, well, you know, we do have to go through and inspect. I was like, yeah, no, I got that. So they're sitting there like, well, you know, he needs to, you know, check for da. And I'm like, all right, let me give you a heads up. This is my job. This is what I do for a living. I work for a general contractor. I'm not a construction guy. And they all kind of like, oh, it's like, I remodel houses. That's what I do for a living. I was like, the reason why the house looks as good condition is because I've taken care of it for 10 years. Like, you know, let's maybe not yank on the fucking doors that are from the 70s.
Yeah.
So after that point, it all really settled down. I walked it, that's a bunch of stuff, fine. So I get out of the door. Second people show up, and I'm talking 5 seconds after they're gone. Next people knock on the door. Open the door. It's a lady realtor and this lady standing next to her. Hi, how are you? How's everything going? Oh, it's going great.
You're the realtor that you've been in touch with, or a different one?
Different one. Different set of people.
Okay.
So come on in. So I go to walk past the door and they were like, oh, could you come back real quick? And I was like, yeah. So I come back. They're like, we were wanting to know if we could ask you a question or so. And I was like, yeah. What's going on? And they're like, so we have a little bit of a condition. And I was like, well, hold on. Let me stop you right there. I'm not the owner of the house. I'm just the tenant. So unfortunately, I cannot fulfill any conditions. Like, you're going to have to talk with Brenda, the realtor. There's not much I can do about that. And she's like, no. The condition is that my client doesn't feel comfortable with having a man in the house while she's touring, and was wondering if you'd step outside while we tour the house. And I looked at her and I was like, it took me a second to register what she was saying. And I was like, oh, man in the house. I got it. Yeah. I was like, actually, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. You guys have a good day, and just shut the door. So I go back. I'm sitting there. Text message from the owner's realtor. It was like, hey, did you turn away a prospect? I was like, I did. I was like, whoever you sent to the house, don't make sure you figure out who these people are, because them asking me to leave the home with all my personal shit while they walk through it is not ever going to happen. And she just writes back. She's like, yeah, that's retarded. Don't do that. Third person shows up at 5:30, runs through the house, walks in. Is like, hey, how you doing? Here's my card. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, thank you very much. Leaves. What the fuck is going on? All right.
Did somebody force you to come here?
Yeah, I was like, what the shit was that? You know, so anyway, they're gone. Fine. Everything's good. So then Brenda messaged me. She's like, hey, I have a potential who's like really, really serious. But I was like, come on, like no more tonight. And she's like, no. They actually are willing to put an offer in on the house without actually seeing it. She's just wondering if they can get pictures of the home. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. I can send you some pictures. She's like, that'd be great. I don't want to, press too hard and make this too miserable, but is there any way I can get them like by tomorrow morning? And I'm like, yeah, not a problem. Hey, I was like, but Brenda, is there any way that we can have a conversation real quick? She's like, yeah, what's going on? I was like, so I'm going to send you all these pictures and everything, but I just want to know what my percentage of the commission for selling the house is going to be. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, you know, because I haven't seen you since you showed up the first time, but I'm doing all of your work for you, you and the owner's work. So I'm just wondering at what percentage of your 5% commission that you're going to take off of selling this house for $460,000 that you're going to give to me. And she's like dead silent. I was like, anyway, I'll send you the pictures. Hung the phone up. This morning, get up, take a bunch of pictures, send them to her. Fuck her. She calls me later today and she's like, hey, I just want to let you know I spoke with the owner and we're going to try and give you a credit for the house for your final month there and all that stuff since, you know, you've been doing this all for us. Cool. I was like, I'm so glad you guys came up with that idea. It's like, holy shit. So anyway, so I've been putting applications into places. I got a call back from one of the places that I applied to. So I go and tour this place. It's up in Natomas. I toured one of the other properties a couple weeks ago, or one of the other units a couple weeks ago. This one popped up. Relatively cheap, not in the greatest area. It's fine. I'm not planning on living there forever. You know what I mean? This isn't a forever home. This is just like, I need to get the fuck out and I need a place to go. So when I went there, it was like, oh, this is what the rent's going to be. This is what the deposit's going to be, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Awesome. This is fucking awesome. We take a $500 holding deposit that is then credited towards the account once we get in. Fine. So this morning when I woke up, I applied yesterday. Oh, I woke up this morning. I got a notification saying $500 has been taken from your account. Oh, fuck. They took the holding deposit. So does that mean it was approved? Whatever. So I call in. I'm like, hey, was that approved? Yeah, absolutely. It's been approved. Nice. Sick. Okay. So we're going to shoot for the 20th of December. That's when I'm going to move. Everything's great. So that $500 deposit, is that part of the deposit? No, it's a credit to the account. It will be used for the rent. So, okay, that's fine. So how much is the deposit? So you need an additional $500 for a deposit? No. Deposit is, we have a program where we charge $15 on top of the month for the 12 months. And then we just call that as a deposit. And I'm like, $15 a month for 12 months is like $180. I'm like, your deposit's $180? Well, no, it's just an additional thing that we do. So it takes care of your deposit price. I was like, no, but that doesn't make any fucking sense because when I move out, the charges for move out for clean and carpet clean alone are not $180. I know that. I'm in this industry. So what is the deposit? And she's like, well, we also have another thing that we can add on top of it where you pay $400 and we just call it good. You pay the $15 additional a month and then you pay $400. And what we do is when you move out, we don't give a shit. If it's trash or not, we just wipe it clean. You walk away from it. And I'm like, it's not how that works. If there's damages or anything done to the apartment, you can't be responsible for it because I paid you $400. I said, just back and forth, but what is the fucking deposit for the apartment? Oh, it's first month's rent. Thank you. So you're saying it's either first month's rent or this program that you have? Yes. Thank you. That's what I needed to fucking know. All right. So I'm moving on the 20th proration. I'll pay the 20th to the 31st, and then the first month's rent as deposit. Well, actually, after any specific date she said or whatever, we take the end of the month's deposit plus the additional month on top of that, and then the deposit. I'm like, so I have to pay the proration, which is 11 days. It's like $600. Fucking first month's rent of January, and then the deposit of what is first month's rent? She's like, yes. I'm like, that's like $4,000 to move in. She's like, yeah, but that's why we have this program. You have this program because you fuck people on the other side of it? I was like, none of this is making any fucking sense. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I got to take it because I got to move, right? So I'm like, okay, let me work out some shit. You don't need an answer right now. That $500 holding deposit, you can't rent the apartment to anybody. So hold the fucking place. Let me go through some goddamn numbers. I'll let you know what I can do. So I contact my property management for this house that I'm currently in. Hey, I call my property manager, who, by the way, is the dumbest fucking person on the planet. Not only is she the dumbest person on the planet, but I hope somehow she stumbles across our channel, is the biggest cunt I've ever met in my entire life. Fuck you, Davina. I hope you choke on a rock because you're probably out there fucking eating ground.
Your algorithm. We're in Australia.
No, fuck that. Sacramento. Find me. Anyway, So I call her, right? And I'm like, hey, so I have a potential move-in for a place. It's going to be December 20th. I want to have that weekend to move out. So the 20th, and then give you guys keys on the 23rd. She's like, well, you have to issue, you have to send us a 30-day notice. So Davina, I'm already on a 60-day notice. Like, I don't need to give you a 30-day notice. I'm already on a 60-day notice. Well, you have to give us a 30-day notice. Davina, I'm already on a 60-day fucking notice. I'm just asking you.
Davina, it's not even the fucking 20. It's the 22nd today. Like, if I want to give you the fucking day, I could call you tomorrow and give you a 30-day fucking notice.
What I'm asking,
what do you think this is?
I was like, what I'm asking you is take the 60-day notice that is from January 11th, move it back to December 23rd, so you can prorate my rent for the month of December. That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. You already have the 60-day in. She's like, hold on 1 second. She puts me on hold, comes back. She's like, actually, I checked your file. You need to issue a 45-day notice. I was like, are you fucking retarded? And she's like dead silent. I'm like, Davina, I don't even have 45 days to when the 60-day notice tells me to leave. What are you talking about? So I'm like, you have no idea. I hang the phone up. I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. So I call Brenda. This is what my plan is. She's like, okay, let me call the owner. Calls the owner. Owner's like, yeah, no problem. Just as long as he cleans the house on his way out, he's fine to go. So then she just texts me. She's like, hey, owner wants me to be there. You pick up keys and all this stuff. I was like, you're more than welcome. She's like, he also said that if you want to just mail the check to him directly, you can just pay him directly and not have to go through the property manager. Because I explained the whole thing. I was like, that's great. Whatever I can do to not get fucked over by that property management company, because they seem like they're a bunch of idiots, I would like to do that. I said, but outside of that, if I can just deal directly with you guys, I would love to just do that. She's like, yeah, okay, I'll keep you posted. That's just 2 days of my fucking week. That was yesterday and today. The rest of the shit, whoa, we gotta even get into. I don't know why I ever stopped doing drugs.
Guess we can't afford them anymore.
My knees,
inflation didn't hit those too.
My knees and mouth still work. I'll suck a dick for a crack rock.
We're just going back. We're going straight to crack. We're not even like easing in.
No. I'm trying to blow I'm trying to fucking JFK my brains out the back of my head. Good lordy. And then video game awards. You touched on it at the very beginning. Segue transition. We're just talking about
stupidest thing I've ever fucking seen.
Am I living?
It pisses me off. How did we go from like the VGAs and fucking Chris Judge and like it becoming like a thing,
Yeah.
Like a bigger like thing to this. Like, how are these the fucking cat? I know it was a shit year. I think we touched on it at the end of the last podcast.
We definitely touched on it.
What are you thinking?
The fact that Helldivers didn't even get a running in VGAs.
That's insane.
So I went back and I checked, and this is what I did. I went to Metacritic for gaming in 2024 and just searched by highest rated and put it as 2024. Guess what? All those fucking video games are the top Metacritic scores. It wasn't even chosen. It was just someone with a fucking AI bot said,
all of the ones that are in the running were the top Metacritic.
Yeah.
That's
why you had
somebody who's real fucking lazy.
Exactly. That's why you have a DLC as one of the fucking options.
That shouldn't be a thing. And I don't think that was a thing last year.
It's never been a thing.
Cyberpunk, the Phantom Liberty or whatever
was its own category
best like additional content or something like that.
Yep. There's
what's going on?
There's no way that is a thing. I hope everyone, and I want all 5 people that watch this to vote for Bolataro, because I want to see a game that shouldn't even be on the list. Like, it's a good game. I don't think it's a game of the year game, but I think it's an amazing fucking game. I want everyone to go and vote for that stupid poker game to be the game of the year. Cause what a giant fuck you to the industry. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many good games that could go up. Space Marines, you know, I'd even take the idea that Silent Hill 2 is a remake. Final Fantasy is a remake. It's okay to put in there. I don't think anybody would vote for it, but I think it's okay to put it in there. You know, Helldivers. You know, I'm okay.
Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm totally okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. It's a good game. I've been watching people play. It's a very interesting title. Very Souls-like around those type of ideas. Like, I'm okay with it, man. I'm totally fine with that being up on there. Balataro.
Astrobot.
Astrobot doesn't make any sense either. Like,
isn't Astrobot like a PlayStation thing that's been around for a long time?
Yeah, and they launched a new title for it for the PlayStation 5. It's just a kid's game. It's its own little fucking thing. I mean, it got great reviews, but it's because it can only be played on PlayStation 5.
And the thing that's crazy to me, like looking at them, like there's only 6 options, right? I'm looking at all these correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, and Metaphor Rafonzio.
Yeah.
If you take away, has there not been anything from Nintendo? It's weird not to see anything like specifically Nintendo up there.
There has been. There was a fucking
well, that's what I'm
Legend
saying.
of Zelda
that's
game.
The weird part.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The fact that just a large portion of whatever this video game awards has become, I think what happened is after the year Mike Judd went up and did his 2-hour long ceremony was the year that all of this changed. That was 2022. That was Elden Ring year. That was the year that the kid got on stage and was like, I want to thank Bill Clinton or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
That was when all this changed. It went from being about video games to probably just about fucking sponsors and money and whatever it comes out to. And now it's just whoever's picking these things just went to Metacritic and was like, oh, fuck, VGA. We should probably put something on the board and just pick the top 5 games that were on Metacritic. Helldivers not being up there makes 0 sense. Even if there was controversy, okay? Even if there was controversy, it doesn't make any sense because the game itself has done so well. You know what I mean?
I'm just clicking through all this shit.
Yeah. Oh, it's dude, watch going through some of the categories. Some of the categories, you're looking at some of the games being like, why is that not game of the year? Why is that not, you know, in a labor of love? I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I fucking hate it.
Best ongoing. Helldivers 2 got is in for best ongoing, but it's not for anything else.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Destiny 2 makes more sense. That's been ongoing forever. Or sure. Final Fantasy fucking
14. Final Fantasy 14 has been in there every single fucking year.
I know.
You know?
Helldivers 2 is like, congratulations, you've made it to the end of year 1. Everything just
the fact that Helldivers
pisses me off.
The fact that Helldivers 2 was launched at the beginning of the year in February, went through all of its controversy and worked its ass off to come back from it is not game of the year, does not make any sense to me.
Pacific Drive.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some weird titles that they threw in the middle of it, which is fine. But again, if you go back and look at all the Metacritic scores for all these games that
like the big ones, like I'm getting deep now.
Well, and that's the thing. If you go to Metacritic and you search by, like I said, 2024, search by top rated, what you'll see in these categories is it's like game of the year with all the top ones. And then as the categories go down, it's like, that's just the next section of video games that were in Metacritic scores. It's just so bad. I think we need to go back in a time machine and stop them from killing Harambe or kill that kid before he fell in the pin. Because I think that's what, like, now that everything has lined up the way that it has up to this year, I am more convinced now that we are living in an alternate timeline.
How could Is it just me and you living in an alternate timeline? Like, there's other people that think this shit's stupid. Do they just transplant? Did Thanos snap and half the population went to one place, half went to the other? And we're like, what the fuck is going on? And then somebody is in our timeline and they're like, holy fuck, why is the sky blue? Like what's...
I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. I couldn't tell you. But I will tell you right now, it's not adding up. 2 and 2 does not equal 4 anymore.
It's pissing me off the more I look at these fucking nominees.
Oh, it's bad, dude. It's
just dumb. like it looks like it's like a scammer bot hitting you up, and it's like, hi, how you are. Like it's just like that level of dumb. It's like
that's exactly what I was saying. When I was looking at it specifically, I was like, it looks like they just typed into ChatGPT and was like, please give me 5 things that would be game of the year. And ChatGPT just fucking went to Metacritic and was like, these are the ones.
Disappointing.
And then
that being said, we're starting our own.
We are starting our own. I think so. Video Game Awards is the 5th, December 5th, I think is what it is.
So right around the corner.
It's literally right around the corner, which means
so I better create an account and vote Balatro for everything.
Everything you can. Don't even vote anything else unless it's on the fucking list. Next week is Thanksgiving. So Black Friday is when we would record our podcast. So we're probably going to have to record it on Saturday or Sunday. And I think we make our own list, our own fucking voting thing, and we do it for the podcast for that Monday before Game Awards comes out.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. I'm all about that noise. That sounds like the way to do it because I can't do this anymore. Speaking of other things that have been disappointing, my dick. No, Stalker 2.
Oh man.
No. Wait, hold on. Stalker 2 is fucking amazing. It's amazing.
Okay.
It's so much fun. It's fucking amazing. I'm addicted. I can't stop thinking about it. I just want to play more of it. But I also think that I am one of a very small group of people that have been playing Stalker forever, who's just like, yeah, it's going to be trash for years. I'm okay with it as long as it's a new Stalker game. Because it's a hot mess.
I've seen some clips, but as long as you count the bugs as anomalies, it's not really that bad of a game.
There's a lot of bugs. There's some game breaking bugs. There's some weird, awkward bugs. There's some things that just don't really make sense. They introduced this thing called AI Life 2 or something like that. It was supposed to be, so one of the things about the original Stalker games, the way that the AI interacted was so fucking cool because the AI was like its own entity in the world. They would roam, they would do things, they would fight mutants. Like you would pick up missions from people, they would roam, they would die, you would fail the mission and not even get to the point of doing it. Like the world felt alive in a sense, breathing, you know, like you at any point in time, you could have picked something up that was part of a mission and accidentally killed somebody else and a mission would have failed. You know what I mean? Like there was so much of that stuff that went on. It was crazy. Or like picking and choosing a certain side and doing something. And if you killed someone, then it ended a quest chain for someone else later down the road. It was alive and breathing. And it was so cool to be like in a place, play something, and then come down a little bit later in the story. And those people had gotten there, but on another playthrough, they would have died on their way there and it would have never happened. It's cool. Made the game feel like you could keep playing it over and over again, you know? Whatever they've done with this AI though, woo, not that. They spawn out of nowhere. So like I was playing with Aaron last night, was showing him the game and stuff, and is it
multiplayer?
No. Multiplayer is scheduled to come sometime later down the road, but who knows what that actually means. as I was explaining to Aaron, it's really weird with the AI. Sometimes they just, and as I turn, they just popped into existence. I was like, they just spawned. They're just here. And they all moved in unison together because they all spawned in the world at the same time. And I was like, it's just fucking weird. It doesn't look natural. I ran past a section. There was no one there. I turned to look back and there's people there. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel real in a sense. Okay. Again, it's fine. Whatever. You go through the zone and there's just not a lot going on. You would imagine, like, you know, when you played in the zone before, it was like you'd walk over a hill and there'd be fucking boar there, and you'd be like, oh fuck, let me like bypass this or whatever. Or you go into a tunnel and there'd be like things inside there, or zombies, snorks, shit like that. Like you just felt like there was things in there. I can run across the map all fucking day and not see anything. Run into a pack of dogs like once every like 10 minutes. They also have introduced something where I don't know if they just lean super heavy on it to kind of like inflate difficulty, but bloodsuckers are like a really, like they're a common enemy of the game. They turn invisible, they fuck you up. Like the lore of them is that they're just like an experiment gone wrong and experiment gone too far, and they broke out of the labs, and there's only a handful of them that kind of like pop up. But in one of the zones, there's like a thing called the Bloodsucker Village, and like people just know that there are bloodsuckers there and shit like that. It's really cool. Every fucking time I open up a stash or walk into a room, there's a bloodsucker. Every time I'm walking through the field and I go to a new area, there's a bloodsucker. And where normally that'd be okay, the AI that you fight against also isn't really fine-tuned. So it's just fucking 25 fucking minutes of you just running back and jumping up on top of things because you can break the AI. The AI is supposed to be smart of like not always knowing where you are and da-da-da-da-da. But it's like the AI fucking knows every spot you're at. So it's really funny to see like a pack of dogs coming to fight you. But if you jump on top of something where their AI can't get to you, their AI just goes and runs around the corner and hides behind something until you get off of the thing that you're on, and then they run back out to fight you. So you always just like you fight a pack of dogs and you hop on top of a car, they run away, they hide behind something, you toss a grenade, kill one, hop back off the car, kill another one, you know, type of thing. It's goofy. But if there's nothing for them to hide behind, they'll pick anything. So like it's really funny to watch like a big flesh monster, like you hop on a car and it go and stand behind like a stick, you know? I can see you, bud. And then the human AI are just aimbots, and then they just their whole thing is like they may not know where you are, but if you engage them, they just huck grenades at you the entire time. So it just pushes you from combat. It doesn't feel natural to be like, I'm pinned behind cover, so I'm leaning, trying to take shots, doing things, and it's like grenade out, you know, and then it's like, oh fuck, and you run to another spot. There's no place for you to go. So as you run, you're just getting fucking peppered the whole time, and it's like, it's got some jank. It's got some jank. And the jank that I think
been out for what?
2 days?
Yeah.
2 days, but it's a fucking developer company that just had to deal with a missile being launched at them. I'm not really sure we're going to get it patched anytime soon. Their smartest thing they can do right now is open up the API and just give it back to the modders.
I was going to
say. Today. Like, hey guys, here, go fix the game for us, you know?
Adapt, please.
Yeah. Because I guarantee you that, I mean, that's all the community is like. They're like, hey, remember when we first sat down to play fucking Shadow of Chernobyl and how janky and buggy and messy it was? A lot of people are like, man, it feels like being home again. Like the jank almost feels natural because it's what it is. And they're like, it'll take them 10 years to fix the game. Ha ha ha. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. But the coolest thing that the game did was when they released the first three, because they thought they were going bankrupt, and they were like, here you go. And the modders took over and fixed the game. And that's why we have Anomaly and Gamma and all this shit. And it's like, give it back to the modders. They are chomping at the bit for it. Your game is a little buggy. You guys can't do it because there's reasons. It's not like you're fucking No Man's Skying it. It's like, well, we collected all our money. I guess we'll just sit on it and try and make it better over the next 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, okay, we launched the game. Everybody back out to the front lines. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's understandable points why this can't go in. So give it back to the community. Let them do your job for you, because they would be happy to fucking do it. You know what I mean? They'd be happy to put the mods together for this game and make it run smoother and better. And I would be happy to play it. I'd be happy to recommend it. I am still happy to recommend it. I think everybody should get in and play it. You just have to be ready for the jank, because it's fucking janky. I had a mission. I was showing Aaron. I went to a place I had never been before. I was just showing him the zone and running around, and went to a spot and ran up and talked to some guy. And I don't know if it's because it was part of a mission later down the road, or I wasn't supposed to be there, or he wasn't supposed to be there, but I talked to him, and it had like one voice option. It was like, he's like, "You're not allowed in. You can't let in." And I was like, "Well, why can't I go into the chemical plant? What's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, this is the people's base. We can't go." And then it just went back to the voice line again. So I only had one option, and it just looped it, but you can't leave the conversation. So I had to quit the game. It's like, oh man, the jank is real, dude. You know, like you'll be talking to people, and they'll be having a conversation with you, and then they'll just fall through the floor. And it's like, what the fuck? Or you'll run up, and it'll just be like a disembodied head running, and it'll see you, and then their body will snap into place. It's like, oh shit, you know, it's janky, you know, but for nostalgia purposes, it's fucking sick. I went to garbage, you know, and when I was in, you know, the starting zone or whatever, and I was like, I don't know where. I'm like trying to look at the map and like, okay, I know that this is like, you know, Chernobyl area. This is Pripyat. So this has got to be like, I'm guessing this is like Rostock, because here's the burnt forest. That means that this is probably garbage over here. I'm like trying to figure out where Cordon's at. And I'm like, I'm looking at the map. And of course I finished like the beginning quest chain. It's like, okay, hey, head over to garbage. The next guy's there. I'm like, oh, sick. And sure enough, you wind up at like the depot, or you go to like the flea market, and you see these places that have been part of the Stalker world since the very beginning. You know what I mean? And it was like, this sense of like, oh, it's like being home, you know? And it's like so cool to see all the shit, and it doesn't look like it's dilapidated or changed, or they're trying to make it seem like, oh, this is the same spot, but it's aged, you know, it just looks the same. It's just all kind of broken down. So it's a lot of fun. It's cool. It's cool to see things. I think the biggest thing that needs to happen with the game, I think the AI needs an overhaul. And I think the gunplay needs an overhaul. I cannot put my finger on it. And I don't know if it's because I've been playing Tarkov for so long, or because I've been playing Gamma and Anomaly for so long, and there's so many mods that fix all the gun stuff.
But it's a little clunky.
It's not even clunky. It's just, I can't put my finger on it. I think guns bounce too much. I think there's too much recoil. But there's not like, it's not like...
It's weird recoil.
It is weird.
From what I've seen. I was watching a guy play it earlier, and like his ADS, and it's hard to say because I've never really played it, but like his ADS seems a little like weird and slow, and he's having trouble finding like his reticle on whatever scope he was using. He's like, I don't understand, like, how come I can't see that? And he was like, he was switching back to a different gun and it was fine, but just for that one it was weird. And then he shot, and it was like this weird it's like a thing like that. It's like, and then to come back to it, it was like the whole gun was fishing around as it like settled back.
It's almost like if you would imagine you were firing a gun out of a pool noodle, and it would just, you know what I mean? Like it's like your whole character. So when you're
like marionette puppet hands are holding it, like you're waiting for the strings to kind of come back.
Yeah, exactly. It is very weird, and I think that's the best way to describe it, because when you're firing, if you're in full auto, your gun doesn't have like a set where you can like, not even, okay, fuck the set pattern thing where like, you know, CSGO pull to make sure that you're in line. But there's something to where like pop, 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 pop. Even if it pops left and right a little bit, you can kind of play it. But there should
be a sense of reliability.
The whole gun just does this. So like every bullet, just out of like 20 bullets, 3 will hit. And it's like, it just makes firefights feel really shitty, especially when enemies just fucking tap the shit out of you all the time. I'm playing on Stalker difficulty, which is medium, because there's like the beginning Stalker and then like a hardcore or whatever the fuck it is. And I was like, I'm just going to fucking pick the Stalker. I know it's going to be janky, so I'm not going to stress myself. Just play it as normal. It's difficult. I just keep dying. I keep dying. And I don't know if I'm dying because I'm a shit player, which, you know, very well could be the case. Or if it's just in a situation where it's like something just is off enough that it doesn't make the game feel good to progress through. With that being said, I've recorded every minute I've been playing. I have no intention of stop playing it. I am so in love and involved with it. I'm ready for what's going to happen next. I want to see where the story goes. I'm playing every side mission. You know what I mean? I've barely even moved my way out of garbage. I'm getting close to probably the middle of garbage area and moving on to the next. I've got like 18 hours in it. You know what I mean? It's like one of those games where it's just like you can get lost in the zone again, and that's cool. And it's fucking gorgeous. It really is. Even with all the little like poppiness to it, like things will pop in, a little bit of screen tear here and there. Sometimes you can tell that some of the polygons just didn't line up or they overlap a little bit. So you get that kind of like weird flutter fade effect. But it is gorgeous to like wake up and like leave like your bunker or whatever, or like a base, and like get like the sun flare and like look out in the zone and see fucking some, crows fly by and a breathing anomaly in front of you. And it's just, it looks fucking good. And it's like, oh man, they hit the nail on the head. They've got the groundwork. They got the stalker, right? They got stalker lore, stalker background, stalker gameplay even. They got the beautiful look of it, and they got the world and the story to build on. They just need to fine tune. To fine tune. So my recommendation for it is Game of the Year, because why not? Because everything else is fucking,
Ballot trophy.
But if you have Game Pass and you don't want to buy the game, pick it up on Game Pass and play it. Because realistically, if you pay for a subscription to Game Pass, right, you're only paying like what, $16 a month or $20 a month, whatever the fuck it is right now.
Mine's $99 a year.
$99 a year. Yeah, for Game Pass. Yeah, I'm just saying if you were just if you didn't have it and just want to pick it up for just to try, you're not spending a ton of money, right? Plus, on top of that, with Game Pass, there's a plethora of other games to play. You know what I mean? You're not just locked into one game for $20. You're locked into $20 for a catalog of video games.
Game Pass is the best thing on the market.
I think so too. I think the coming and going of certain games, kind of sucks, but they're like yearly. They're like, hey, this game's been here for a couple of years. We're going to probably take it off so we can make room for another one. So it's like, if you have
like, as long as you have it downloaded, you can still play it.
I don't think so. No, I think that once they once it's pulled off a Game Pass, it won't launch. It'll give you information, be like, would you like to purchase the game? Because it's not on Game Pass for free anymore.
Okay.
So you can still have it on your computer, but even still, pick it up and play it. Play it now to be early to... Did you freeze again? This fucking guy. I swear to God. I work my ass off for this stupid fucking podcast. This guy has to go and move out in the middle of the goddamn woods and be all Tesla.
I'm so confused. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Hi.
Did I freeze? Have I been gone for this entire time?
I have no idea. What'd you hear last?
You never stopped.
Oh,
you were talking and you stopped. Did you freeze? I was like, I don't know. Did I?
Yeah.
I just looked to see if Stalker was on Steam.
Oh, it is. That's why I bought it. I bought it.
It's not on Steam.
It is on Steam.
Am I spelling it wrong?
Yeah. S.T.
I typed in fucking Stalker, and then you're like, did you freeze? This fucking guy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, in mine, no lag. I'm doing this. So I'm like,
you were hard frozen.
Going on?
You were hard frozen. I bought it back in January, and I bought the Ultimate Edition because I was like, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it anyway. So $60 for the game with all the jank, I totally can understand where people would be upset with it. Now, not knowing the history and all this stuff, it's like buying a Bethesda game. It feels weird to get a Bethesda game and then bitch about how bad the Bethesda game is. You know what I mean? You're gonna. Yeah, it's expected.
At some point, while you were saying, like, I got stuck in an endless loop. Like, I was trying to think, like, because I know in one of the Fallouts, there's a thing like, just don't even try that quest. Like, if you get to that point, if you talk to this guy, it will break your game. You'll have to reset. Like, so, like, there's like things like that, like, I don't even know if they ever got fixed.
No, and
but you just didn't touch it.
The thing is also like, again, a lot of the issues with the Bethesda is like a shit engine that they've been like utilizing since the beginning of time, and it's like, okay, it's time to upgrade that fucking engine.
Before Morrowind.
Yeah, that's why your shit doesn't work. But there's also a point of being like, you guys are a pretty big company and now run by Microsoft. Like, you should probably not have a game be shit when it launches. TSC, on the other hand, give and take. I'm not saying that it's completely excusable, but a war makes it kind of a little bit tough to put things out, you know?
Man, those missiles they dropped.
Yeah, dude.
It was wild.
Russia
I've
was
never
not
seen anything like it.
Russia was not fucking around.
Nope. Nope. They weren't nuclear, and they weren't actually ICBMs. They were like intermediate range ballistic missiles, IRBMs or something like that. Still a very big deal.
Not only just that, but like that's one of those things where it's like, are you losing the war so you're backed into a corner? Like, is that what's happening? Are we back to World War II where it's like, we probably can't get ahead, so let's just drop nukes to push this aside? You know what I mean? You're putting yourself in that position of being like, we're playing a really interesting game here because when you back someone to a corner that has nuclear capabilities, you're not leaving them much options. I'm not necessarily advocating on either side. I'm just saying
the scariest part of it all is it's not even like you've backed a country, because the country doesn't make decisions. You've backed Vladimir Putin, who has assassinated 4 people in the last since the war started, like 4 opposing like high profile people. Just like, you want to talk bad about me, you're dead. Another, like, somebody in like a ballerina or ballet, I don't know what you call it, male ballerina, but like one of those guys like just said something like critical about like Putin in the war, and he fell off of his fucking high-rise condo or some shit like that. Like, backing that guy in because he's like, if I go, like, I'm gonna be dead. Like, it's not like I'm going to retire. Like, it will be the death of me. So backing somebody like him into a corner where he's like, what do I have to lose? Fucking nothing. Push the button.
Oof, man, that's a scary thing. And then it's like, you know, of course, like the last end of this, like, well, you know, the U.S. is starting to send very specific support and weapons and you know, bombs and stuff, mines and things like that to the Ukraine. It's like, man, we pulled
back.
I know, but
we pulled back a little bit. So there is a thing going there, like, why is the U.S. This is like 12 hours before they drop those fucking missiles. They're like, this is interesting. The United States just closed up their embassy in Ukraine, and then it was just like, we close, and then somebody else closed, and then somebody else closed. Like, something big is happening.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it too. You start to notice it.
People are really starting to be like, do we want to fuck with
But
this?
that's also where it's like, you know, this shit is all a fucking game. Because somebody from Russia was like, hey, by the way, we're gonna launch gonna launch some bombs. So you better.
The White House said that they got a call that they were like, they're not nuclear, and we're not aiming it at any of your shit. Because,
but it's coming. Yeah, it's coming.
But it is coming. We're dropping some shit. So. Woo! Anyways, yeah, if they could just get on that fucking, if they could start patching the JGS, that'd be great.
It feels bad, man. That's why
you're not going to be exporting wheat anytime soon. At least you can make your video games good.
I mean, that is kind of the thing where it's like, where people who are talking negatively about the game, I think, have to be. This is one of those games where, like, I don't advocate for patience a lot in the video game industry, but these are one of the ones where it's like, this might be one to, it's, you know, maybe along the lines of independent, you know, Microsoft did back them to make sure that it got out there. They were like, you know, they put it on Game Pass to make sure there was a point.
But unless Microsoft is getting their own SAM sites to fucking overlook the fucking dev headquarters.
You don't know. I mean, how do you think you fucking running all your computers out there?
Fucking Tesla, dude.
Anyway, Stalker's been amazing. I'm happy. I will tell you though, the jank and the game itself has made me want to play more Gamma while I wait for it to get fixed. You know what I mean? I played Gamma a million times, but knowing what the modding community has done and how cool Gamma is, or Anomaly and Gamma, because of the mods, knowing that this game can potentially have the mod support, knowing that it's so janky, I almost am like, I feel like I'm okay to give the money because I have it, but I almost feel like I'm doing the game a disservice by playing it. Because it's just
Until it's ready.
It's not ready, you know? I don't want to go through it and slam
Your
it out.
first impression is still going to be your first impression.
100%. Yeah. Without a doubt. And like, how many times have we gone back to play games later after it's been fixed? And
it's like me. I never had to deal with any of the Cyberpunk problems.
yeah.
So I started playing it and I was like, I don't know what the fuck everybody's talking about. This game's great. Like, yeah, I ran like a couple, but people are like, it is game breaking. It's this. And like, I didn't play it. I don't know how long it was. Probably 6 months, something like that. And by the time I had gotten to it, I barely noticed.
Yeah, no. I mean, I picked up day one and my jank in Cyberpunk was like, there was a couple like mission breaking bugs that I had to go back to a previous save. But for the most part, game ran fine. You know, it was not and I played it on PC too. I know the console versions had a much stronger problem going on, but even still.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. And then there's a lot of
people.
It
was backwards.
I don't know. I remember the PlayStation version for sure was like, the game is struggling. Like you couldn't drive through town because it would just be like, you know, because they had so many like pedestrians and cars and stuff. They didn't like account for what the PlayStation 4 could do.
That fucking when you hear all the fans turn on the place.
Yeah, when it's louder, you got to turn the TV up because you can't hear it. You know. I don't know, man. It's one of those things where the gaming industry needs more games like this. I wish they had stuck an early access tag on this. I feel like had they stuck the early access tag on it, it would have been less negatively received. Because I think it's sitting at like a 74 on Metacritic right now, review wise, from all the top like reviewers. I know IGN hasn't put their review out and a few other things, but I know that the user reviews are much higher, like a 79 or 80 or something like that.
If I had to take a gander, I don't really know that the early access might have helped, but I feel like the people that are leaving the bad reviews are the people that don't understand the situation, that don't have the history with it, who are just seeing like, oh, let's try this game and trying it. And the people that have good reviews and have the optimism for it are the people that like you, that have already like been through it, seen the growth, have been excited for it, and are ready to take it for what it is, knowing the true potential that's like lies within it.
Yeah. I mean, I know that's a good point. I have read a few of the big reviews that have kind of given it low scoring. And a lot of them have done the like, we understand the situation, but you have to take things at face value. And if a game isn't of quality, knowing that it could be or whatever, like you still have to review it as it is, and it is not good enough to recommend because of how bad and broken it is. And it's like, I get that. I understand that.
Yeah.
But it also makes me okay. So then let's tail this back to video game awards, because soccer's not even anywhere near that list, which is fine. It's not a big deal. It makes you question what is supposed to be on the video game awards, or what people would want to give a game of the year. Like what in itself is game of the year?
Game of the year. So I think like going back to like the things that they had for game of the year and stuff like that. Hold on, I should pull it up one more time just so I can get fucking pissed off. When I look at like the video game awards, I objectively understand that I'm not going to know all of the games that are on there. Some of them all have heard of,
Sure.
Some of them all have played,
Sure.
Some of them all have really liked, but there will be some like all the Nintendo shit. Like you'll probably hear about it and stuff like that, but I don't have a Nintendo to play it on, so I won't see those. There will be even like more like fringe games that are probably very popular just outside of my wheelhouse that I've never even heard of.
Okay.
I understand that. I think if you're going to get something as big as game of the year, it should be so unanimously, like it should send a shockwave through that it reaches every little like subgenre of gamers, and everybody collectively is like, wow, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like everything said us, like Elden Ring was such an obvious one. I thought Baldur's Gate was such a fucking obvious one, just because of like the leaps and bounds and like how everybody like like held their breath for a second when it released and like realized how good it was.
So then is a Metacritic score that scores super fucking high for those games that are on that list.
I don't think it needs to have anything to do with Metacritic score.
Well, I mean, isn't that what a Metacritic score is? It's just a unanimous number against everyone saying that this game was good.
Do you always agree with the Metacritic score though?
No, but do you always agree with everybody's opinion?
No. All
right. So like you can't, I don't know if you can say unanimously. Like, and again, I don't disagree with Elden Ring or Baldur's Gate. I don't disagree with those. I think they're fucking phenomenal games. But why then isn't a DLC worth its time as Game of the Year? Other than the most obvious fucking thing if it's a downloadable content, like it's not new game. But I mean, like, why not? Because I had this conversation, I was having this conversation in chat too, where it was like, you know, because I think what was it? Satisfactory got one of the nominations for something on that list or whatever. And I was like, if a game is in early access, should it also be allowed in to a running for Game of the Year? Because then Baldur's Gate would be out. Now, granted, like I was talking about last night with Aaron, is that Baldur's Gate only had Act 1 for its early access, but it was also out for like 2.5 years so they could work out all the bugs and kinks and all the things before they launched it. It's like, if you're catching revenue for a video game, then shouldn't it just be whenever you put it out? Like, sure, games come out as 1.0 launches and then get updated throughout the years. Like, you know what I mean? Why isn't Destiny 2 after a patch? Why isn't WoW after an expansion? Why aren't they in the running for Game of the Year?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why.
Like, you can't own Erdtree without owning.
Yeah, no. That was what I was just about to say. Like, if it was a standalone, like, you did not go with it, like, because to get to that, you have to be to a certain point, go through a certain step to get to that spot.
You have to have the base game. If it was its
own thing where, like, you just started in, then I could see it. Then I would think it's shitty.
Yeah.
Not shitty like the game's shitty, but like kind of like oh, like this is what you're gonna do. Like, give us more of the same shit tied in, and then it wouldn't have like the crossover back and forth, maybe. But hey, okay, that shouldn't be there. Erdtree should not be there. Is there not a category this year for best DLC or expansion
ongoing games?
Like yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's out of this list. Does Final Fantasy VII? Well, because it's a rebirth remake. Does that?
It's a remake of a remake of a remake. Like, should that qualify?
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, again,
really count to me. I don't know what the fuck metaphor.
That's actually a new game in its own right. It's just a sci-fi version of like the Persona games. So it's its own game. That one's fine to be on that list. I'm okay with that. Bolotaro, again, it's its own game. I mean, it fits the criteria. It just doesn't make sense. You're not playing anything. It's just a card game. It's like, it's just poker. It's poker with extra steps. That's all it is. It's 4D poker. That one makes sense. It's its own entity. I'm okay with that.
And honestly, it wasn't a bad game. It kind of feels like a little like flash in the pan, if you will. Everybody talked about it for like a couple weeks. What was the controversy around it?
They didn't have women something or other in it, and it was like it was a whole baloney.
Something stupid like
so, and that's another thing too. That game had controversy, so why the fuck isn't Helldivers 2 on there?
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
To be game of the year, I don't know. I get there's always going to be flash in the pans. Helldivers held on for a long fucking time.
Helldivers went through a bunch of shit.
And then went through the shit that they went through and then brought it back.
Not only that, but we're talking about the gaming industry as a whole. Okay, but we're also talking about gamers that make these choices, right? That's all Jeff Knightley was he's just he's a journalist, and he just turned this into a big thing, right? He's a gamer. It was a journalist gamer, and it was a big thing. If it's not on the list, someone had to make that decision that it shouldn't be on the list. And now if it's all because of Sony and whatever else, again, that doesn't make any sense because the developers are the people that have been busting their ass for the game. They saw what was happening. They were like, guys, we're going to try and fix them things. We're going to work around it. And they did. But Sony, as the big name on the back end, was like, oh, we're not doing this. Now, the question comes down, how much of VGA is maybe in cahoots with Microsoft? And so Sony didn't get any running in that.
Isn't Astrobot Sony, though?
It is, but that would be the only. Oh, we're not going to give you Helldivers.
That's why they gave them there.
Yeah, we're not going to give you Helldivers that could win. We'll give you Astrobot, so that way you can't make more. You can't make some more money on Helldivers when you do the Game of the Year edition.
That's
you're right.
Didn't even think about that.
Because no one's voting Astrobot. No one is like.
See, that just ruins the sanctity of.
That's what I'm telling you.
The VGAs, which is why the Yap is going to be just a step above.
Our Yap, it is going to be a step above. I've got some things that I think there should be some categories that need to be talked about. And I think we should hit them, and we should hit them hard. And we should get people mad about how hard we hit them.
Oh, no. I was just thinking. I gotta get the green screen working now. We'll dress up like in ties. We'll have I'll have the background. We'll give speeches.
So what we should do? We should do this in person.
Ooh.
Do a live VGA.
Live.
We should do it the same day. We should skip Monday. Take the 5th off and do a live VGA Awards on the same day.
Your place?
Sure. And then when we're done, we can throw Molotovs at the walls in here. Burn this motherfucker to the ground.
A 5th. Is the 5th a Thursday?
I think so.
I have a doctor's appointment at 2:00.
So we'll do it at 9 a.m. All ideas. We'll throw it all together. Hopefully,
I wish we'd had this idea
I know
a little while ago.
I
was already like thinking in my head, like making like the golden Yap, having the dumpster fire award. But just make like little like trophies. Have like a fucking like a wall of like knickknacks of like all the years, so you can say like, oh yeah, look at.
Oh, that would be great. That'd be great.
We start our Yap Awards, and we kind of just like keep track over the years.
Oh, that's kind of fun. I want you to do some things right now. Have you looked into what is potentially coming up for 2025?
No.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it doesn't look good.
So the Yap Awards next year is all just dumpster fire?
Oh, it's all dumpster fire. We have 3 categories of dumpster fire. We don't want to leave anybody out. We'll just give them all awards. That's all we'll do. All our whole nomination, they'll all get awards.
Just okay. Yeah. So we'll make like what? Like a 4-inch model or something like that. But then we'll make a bunch of minis, and when just like shit games come out, we'll just mail one of the minis and just like, congratulations, you have been entered into the race for the Yap prestigious dumpster fire award.
Now the only thing,
tune in. Ooh, that'd be good. Tune in to our YouTube channel to find out if you have won.
That would be fucking great. Now the one thing I would
trolling companies.
There needs to be a caveat. We have to play the games, or we have to have someone within the group play the games that we nominate.
That's another thing. There's some of them on there, like Star Wars Outlaws. They had that in the running for dumpster fire. I haven't actually played it, and it feels disingenuous to give an award to something they haven't played.
Sean said something last night. So Sean's been playing Dragon Age, woke mode or whatever the fuck that game is called.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So were you planning on playing this? I mean, we played the other Dragon Ages. So is this on your list, or were you just gonna do it no matter what? And he was like, well, I just saw how everybody was talking shit about it, and I just thought I had to play it myself. And I was like, That's Sean to a T, though. If someone says it's blue, he's immediately like, no, it's red. Just to rub the wrong direction, right? Like, that's Sean to a T. But he also had a very good point. He was like, I have to make the decision myself. I have to make, if I play it and it's like, yeah, I get it, then it's, you know, it's worthy of the controversy or whatever. But if not, I can then still make my own decision and be like, yeah, it's there, but the game's still fucking good. And from what I've heard, he's put in like 60 hours into the game. So he enjoys it.
Yeah. I mean, but I kind of had a similar conversation with him too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, he's obviously
simple.
I talked to him too, and I was like, see, I feel bad because like I have immediately like there's definitely things there and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, you know? But like my ideology maybe doesn't like align with that.
Sure,
and I definitely I don't really want it either way. I don't want anything feeling like it's being force fed to me.
Sure. Absolutely.
That being said, while I'm talking to Sean about that, I'm realizing like I'm just kind of taking what's being force fed to me. All the people like, this is kind of woke bullshit. And everything aside, like I was like, so is it really like, he's like, yeah, no, there's definitely parts where like you do have to like come across those interactions, but it's also like the people who are bitching about it are kind of cherry picking the content to back up the fact that it's in the game. There is obviously external things going on in the game.
Yeah.
That being said, he did say there's a lot of things where you're like, it's a little lazy, like with the wording and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, and you can feel it. And again, that's one of those things where you would put that on your scale of like, is that one little bit of content or that surrounding content that is this in this manner going to detract from the entirety of the game, or is it so in your face obvious that it kind of tunes you out from the rest of it? Because that's the hardest part. Like you said, first impressions. If the first impressions of the game are shove this shit down your throat, then it's like, I don't really feel like playing the rest of the game if this is how it's like. And then you lose the potential from someone to make their own decision to get to the end of it. At the same point in time, it's storytelling. People tell whatever stories they want. So I don't know. It's a tough point, but I do think that if anything that we throw onto a list, we have to play. We have to make
somebody has to have played.
Someone has to have played. I don't care if it's one of the group members that comes out and says Dota 2 is the greatest game in the world. We can absolutely take that game and put it into dumpster fire.
So who's gonna play Star Wars Outlaws?
Is it
we're about to be fucking Cliff. We're about to be fucking playing that game for 1 hour and 53 minutes and immediately uninstalling.
Is it on Game Pass? That's what we need to do. We need to just figure out where, because I don't want to have to get to that point either. We buy games and then have to return.
I don't want to buy. Well, I don't want to buy the games either, though.
It's not saying how big games are too. I also don't want to have to buy a game, install fucking 200 gigs, play it for 2 hours, and then return it. You know what I mean? Like that sounds like a nightmare.
Star Wars Outlaws is not on Game Pass.
That's all right. Maybe we can find a cracked version.
$52.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's 25% off. It's usually $69.99.
Yeah. So I'm saying, so you make those decisions based on that. Now, maybe we have a category of games that look like trash that we won't play.
Okay. Dustborn. Somebody's gonna have to bite the.
Can you even still buy that game?
I don't know. You can.
Okay.
You can.
Fuck. See, because that'd be a great thing if the game was
the other thing too, though. We'll never get to play Concord.
I know.
And I feel like that should be fucking that's like my top contender for
that's okay.
dumpster fire of the year.
That's okay because that's a great opportunity. It was so bad they had to pull it. No one can play it to actually review it, so I can only go based off of what was said. That's an easy one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's an easy one.
All right. Well, let's wait it out a little bit to see when fucking Dustborn's going to go all the way down. Oh, there's a demo.
Oh, perfect. Oh.
No, it says next Steam Fest.
Oh, it was a next Steam Fest. You probably could still download it. I think that's a good alternative. If we can't buy the games, we'll play the demos. Don't download it now. You were already having a tough time.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. Let's have to go to it. Yeah. Oh no, I see it going.
Oh, that'd be dope though. It's a good way to do it. I hope you play it and you go, the controversy wasn't that bad.
The controversy was only like half of it. They're like, if it wasn't like bad enough that like it's just like oh we're a bunch of like Rudy poop fucking blue haired, like if that wasn't enough, like all like the dialogue and stuff and just like the animations, you're like, what? There wasn't like one person like clip that like when somebody leapt and there was that like lackluster like dust cloud, nobody could do like a sound effect for it. Like
for me, it was the whole use your words as weapons, and then it just cuts to her yelling at the guy like racist. It's like, all right, man, that was fucking great. All right,
I got some homework then.
Let's get the fuck out of here, guys. Enjoy your week. Happy Thanksgiving. Don't overcook your turkey. Make it, remember, it's the only time of the year that you really have to spend with family. So dig up some fucking dirt and dump it right in the middle of dinner. Just lay it out there for every person at the table and just watch.
Just wait for everybody to surround. Everybody, you know, says grace, you know, everybody starts like, you know, like pass the mashed potatoes around. And right when you see that one ant, just be like, so how's everybody feel about the election results? And just sit back and enjoy.
And just enjoy. Enjoy.
That's what I do every fucking year.
Oh my God. It's amazing. All right, we're out of here. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.